I have to get this off my chest. Bunny Iglesias is going to be clear of Julian Loki by the end of the U20 World Cup. Hear me out. I will explain to you in this video why I think Bunny Iglesias will be a better antagonist and a better footballer by the end of this arc than Julian Loki. If you guys like this type of content, please hit that like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. I didn't always used to have this take, but I think the last chapters really confirmed it with the revelation coming of Loki being a New Gen 11 player. Now, what does this mean? Obviously, we've seen New Gen 11s like Sai Toshi. He was our first one. After Sai, we then seen Michael Kaiser, Don Lorenzo, and now Bunny Iglesias and Hugo and Loki. We have a total of about 7 New Gen 11s, and we know the general standpoint of how good each one of them are, mostly Kaiser, because we've seen him play for an entire arc. In my personal opinion, this revelation only serves to the fact that I think Bunny is going to be the best New Gen 11 that we encounter throughout the entire series. Let's look at it. First of all, they both play for very established nations and are both very young, playing literal professional football. Like, they're on the masters level already at a very young age. Another thing I have to talk about is the fact that Bunny plays for Barcelona, which is historically known to have legends and greats, and right now is known for having a lot of great young players, aka Lamine Yamal. Then Loki plays for PSG, who obviously, you can tell from his design, looks just like Kylian Mbappe from real life. Now, when you look at these two contrasting people, they're pretty similar. You can see how Bunny is playing at a high level, young age, professional, Barcelona big team, and Loki is playing for basically the same thing. But now I want to compare their introductions. With Loki being introduced way earlier and probably set up as a endgame antagonist, final boss for Isagi from literally the second selection. He serves as a catalyst to see how good we need to get to be able to reach the top level, and he just shows us the difference between our current players and these top pros. But now at the current level we're at, I think we're at a level where we can actually sort of compete with Loki and with France. Now, this France game is going to tell us how accurate that exactly is, because I'm not gonna lie, France is pretty stacked, and I wouldn't be surprised if Loki maybe scores 3 or 4 goals this game. But I still think, in the terms of the narrative, Bunny is just gonna be better than Loki. And the reason why I say that is Japan is going to face France in the next match of U20. I think this will be Isagi's first loss since the second selection arc. After this, we already know that later on in the tournament, Japan and Spain will meet somewhere throughout the tournament, somewhere. And we've already seen Kaneshiro setting up this dynamic between Isagi, Sai, and Bunny already. But I think that Japan will meet Spain later in the tournament than they meet France. Now, obviously that's the case since they're in the same group with France. But what I mean by that is I think that this game against France will serve as a tragic setup to a get back that will possibly happen in the final. So it's a motivation that Kaneshiro will set up for Isagi to get to the final and face France and defeat them. But what we don't know is the fact that BLUELOCK, having all that motivation to get to the final, it's all going to be spoiled when they lose to Bunny. And I feel like Bunny Iglesias is going to win the entire U20 World Cup. Now, obviously, I don't have a lot of evidence to back all this up. It's just straight he say, she say here. But I think it is narratively implied that Bunny is on the same level of Loki, maybe even higher, because when you think about it, Loki doesn't have a single feat in the entire series where it says that he has discouraged another New Gen 11, not a regular smegular player, no, a New Gen 11 to literally change his position completely. Loki has never done that, and Bunny is clearly stated he is the guy that made Sai lose everything in basically his whole ego. He made Sai lose literally everything, and when we get that backstory, it's probably going to confirm just how good Bunny really is. Another thing I have to talk about is the fact that Bunny isn't really trying. From what we know of Bunny right now, it seems like he's just a bored player. And what we know about football and anime in general is that mostly it's the guys who are pretty bored and just way too good to be trying their hardest all the time, those guys are usually the best players in the manga. That's just implied always. So yeah, my original plan is the fact that I think Japan is going to lose to France in the group stage, which is going to set up a rivalry between Isagi and Loki directly, and they're going to vow to meet each other in the final. Now, on their way to the final, I think Japan will end up running into Spain, and what everyone expects is for Japan to defeat Spain and get to the final and defeat France. I actually feel like Japan is going to play Spain just before the final and lose. I feel like this will be a very tragic setup for Blue Lock as a whole, and it'll be a tragic setup for Isagi and all the characters who tried so hard, set this one goal for everything, just for it to all come crashing down. Now you're probably asking me, Extendo, how if Loki and Bunny end up defeating Japan in the U20 World Cup, both each time just once, how the hell will Bunny be better than Loki? Now here's my hypothesis. I feel like this Japan versus France game might be a lot more close than a lot of people think. Now, a lot of people might think it's a blowout. I think this game will be relatively close for the beginning stages. I think towards the end, it'll start getting ugly because Japan is just going to start to despair at how good Loki is. But I think that with Spain, I feel like that game will also be a pretty close game and maybe go down to the wire. But the majority of the game, I feel like, is going to be about awakening Bunny's ego and awakening Sai's ego. That game is going to be all about awakening people's new egos, like Sai, Bunny, you know, those guys. So Bunny, without even an ego, to be honest, or like even any drive to be like getting better, is already one of the best. So what that tells me is the fact that since he is that good already, without even trying, like, get what I'm saying? Without even trying, he's that good. Imagine when he starts trying, bro. I feel like that'll be the reason the game is close, because Bunny is not even 100% the entire game. Whereas Loki, throughout this entire game, he's coming in angry. He's going to be trying his hardest to just humiliate Isagi in the worst ways possible, from the start of the whistle to the end. And that's why I think France will end up running away with the same to the end. But I think Blue Lock will have a devised plan to end up stopping Loki the first couple times, but then it'll just become hopeless when you realize that Loki is almost unstoppable as a player. Do I think Bunny will be as unstoppable as Loki? No, because I just don't think Bunny's weapon is as util. It just doesn't have as much util as Loki's does. But at the same time, I do think that Bunny is going to be a way smarter player. I think Bunny will have better eyes. I think Bunny will just be the complete striker in Spain. His dribbling, I think, will be up there. His shooting, finishing techniques will be crazy. His brain movement would be insane. He would just be a demigod. What I'm saying about Bunny is I think he will be a dip in every single thing. He'll be able to do literally everything, from score to pass to dribble. That's what a striker in Spain should be doing anyways. So it seems very, very realistic for Bunny to be that sort of all-around type of player, while Loki is going to be focused more on his pace and unstoppability. Overall, there's literally no way of telling which one of these players is going to be better by the end of the manga or even by the end of this arc. This is all just a hypothesis on what I think and what I'm gathering from the narrative itself. You guys can let me know what you guys find out about the narrative and this debate down below in the comments. And yeah, man, let me know who you guys think will be better, Bunny Iglesias or Julian Loki, towards the end of this U20 World Cup. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe. And yeah, man, I hope you guys all have a great day. Bye-bye.